All right. Happy 2023. This is the first trading review of the year, and this will be my week one trading review. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Michael Diaz. I am a trader with ASFX. Trading for me is full-time, along with my full-time job. It is not easy, but I'm going to be putting these trading reviews out every single week for you guys to take value from it and just get as much as you can. And along the way, I'm sure I'll be answering questions and comments from you guys. So I hope this is a value-filled review and a very interesting year. And I wish you all the best of luck in trading this year. And always learn, regardless of a win or loss, take what you can from it and keep moving forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in. So being that it's the first trading week of the year, I did not take any trades this week. My main focus was on my plan, my signals checklist, and my process in which I'm going to execute this year. I did perform my daily morning routine every day. I did go to the trading desk, and I did find some markups, and we'll be going into those later. So let's jump right in. At the screen here is what you see is my trading plan. And the trading plan here, I've been reviewing for about the past week or two and just making sure it's as refined and detailed as I need it to be, so I can have the best possibility to execute it for this year. I recommend every trader has a trading plan, and I recommend that every trader reads it every morning before starting to look at charts or even entering a trade. So we're just going to dive into mine a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of point some things out, and I hope you guys get some value from this weekly review. So at the top, I have my objectives, and that's, of course, what do I want to achieve when I'm showing up and trading and doing all this? What is the whole point of me doing this? So at the top, my objective is to be profitable year by year, month by month, week by week, and day by day. And I make sure to read that, of course, and I have it at the top because it's a pretty important piece. Most people just say, yeah, be profitable, be profitable. But I look at that and then I kind of read it from left to right, and then I go back from right to left. The best way to be profitable year by year, month by month, week by week, and day by day is day by day, week by week, month by month, and year by year. On the second thing, I'd like to increase my capital each year in which I'm trading with, so I can just make more money doing the exact same thing I'm doing and just doubling my profits. And third is enjoying the process, always growing and never quitting. Have that there because there's multitudes of times in which I myself have very much so wanted to quit and give up and things like that. And we'll have a little segment here on a little bit of questions that I kind of asked myself and answered in terms of potential and trading and kind of the entire reason why I'm doing this. The second set here is just the setups I'll be trading. I am a part of the ASFX trading community, so I do follow the ASFX systems. For those of you who don't know what ASFX is, I will be putting a link in the bio and the comments of this video for you to click and check them out. If you're a struggling trader or you're just looking for a system to trade or something to figure out, please feel free to check out that link and just dive in, go in and see what questions you can get answered. So with those systems and objectives and setups I'll be taking, I now have my daily limits on what max amount of risk I will be taking on each trade. So for each phase of a funding challenge, whether you're trying to get funded or you already are funded, I have the max risk per capital per trade is 1%. So if you're using a $1,000 account, you're only going to be risking $100 per trade. If you're using a $100,000 account, like these prop firms have, and one that I am currently trading, you would be only risking $1,000 per trade. Nothing more, and of course, less, depending on other factors of the trade. In terms of the number of positions, I have it at 2. In terms of news, I pretty much want to have as minimal risk on as possible to honestly no risk on for news. In terms of over the weekend, I do not really do over the weekend holds, and I feel that it's best to check with your broker and the firm in which you're trading with. And it also varies on the way you're trading. I just don't trade super long term. I do have daily loss limits for myself and weekly loss limits for myself as well. So we're going to continue here. Now I have my trading hours, my review sessions, I have my mistakes, I have my goals, I have my why, I have the questions to ask myself during the trade, and my grading rules. Especially when having a trading plan, I really think you should have these things in place, especially in terms of review. I know a lot of beginning traders, when you first start to trade, you just kind of take the trade and just up, it was a win or it was a loss, and we don't really review in depth. A big part of your progress is really going to come from that review and not just taking the trade and kind of forgetting about it the next day. And so I would highly recommend inputting just some sort of review process for what you're doing. Secondly, mistakes. As you see here, there's a solid list of mistakes that could be made. Some can be different based on the way you trade, but I would make sure to have a list and see if these are coming up often while you're trading or not so often, and hopefully not so often. I have my goals, I have my why, and I also have questions to ask during a trade. Things like, does this trade align with my why? My why is part of the objectives on page 1. Secondly, underneath that, I have the grading rules and risk management for phase 1, for phase 2, and while I'm funded. I've got to change this max risk because I'm pretty much only going to be putting 1% risk. This is really in terms of just longevity and survival in the market, especially one that we're in now. In more of a bullish market, you could probably risk these kinds of numbers, but with the way the market is now, it's always best to be safe. Of course, following that, I have my exit rules, the trade management in which I use while I'm in a trade, and how I'm going to exit that trade, and at what points in which I will exit. I also have commandments. I have a roadmap. I have bigger goals in terms of life. I have my morning checklist, which involves my morning routine, and I have my on the charts and off the charts duties. For any new trader, I recommend this highly because this will allow you to have some sort of principles and system set up to where you can use this and follow it rather than just kind of going on a whim or just figuring it out along the way. With all this in place and all these pages that you see here, it really allows me to focus on things I'm doing and not doing, and the things I should and shouldn't be doing to improve my trading as well. Let me see here. I'm going to jump into my trading signals next. So the next thing I have here is my trading signals. Here we go. So now this here is something I also have at the desk with me. It is called an entry signals checklist. So based on whatever system you trade or whatever signal you trade, you should have some sort of checklist in which you follow as that signal or the system you trade progresses. So if you trade a certain system and a candle or something comes up that tells you it might be time to enter, I hope you have a checklist that says, okay, is this meeting these things? Is this chart? Is this pair? Is this markup meeting this criteria in order for me to place risk on it? And as well, once that's entered, I'd like to have some sort of exit management as well. So now we're going to get into some markups here. The main thing for me is it was a slow week, but I really wanted to perfect and lock in on how I'm going to go about the year with the system and the rules I have in place and the morning routine, the review, and really solidify a complete system in which I'm going to trade and follow this plan. The trading plan and the signals checklist, I feel those are almost two necessary things to have. When you really don't have them, I just find there's tons of room for error, and just it's not really the best to gauge how you're doing when you don't have rules and systems and things like this in place, and it's just going to take a much longer process to figure out. So I'm just going to jump in here into some markups. I know most of you don't really know the signals or the reasonings. I know I kind of breezed through it there, but I'm just going to jump into some markups here. As I go through each weekly review, I'm going to either show the trades I entered or didn't enter, or the ones I felt were worth marking up. I didn't take any trades this week, and I'm confident and happy in saying that. I'm happy to say that I did lock in on this plan and that system that I will be following for the next 51 weeks. But in terms of this week, it was a news-filled week. NFP was today as well. But I'm going to get into two quick markups that I had for the week, and hopefully you get something out of them. The first here is on a Thursday morning at 7:30. This is GBP CAD. I have this as an A signal, A2. When I'm at the desk here, I'm just seeing very clean trend, very clean price action, nice levels. So as I see that, I'm looking and I'm waiting for my parameters to be met. Now this signal painted and came up, and then I go through my checklist and I start to see the pros and cons of the market and where price is at and whether this is worth entering or not. So out of this trade, I do feel I should have been in it, being that there were many more pros than cons. There's a clean market sentiment line showing that bearish favor is holding its bearish momentum. There's good EMAs. Volume is decreasing. That is a parameter of the A2 signal. The Asian range is broken. The Asian session is the nighttime session. I usually want to see price broken out of that and kind of looking to set new highs or lows. There's no divergence, and there was worthy risk. So with clean structure, clean sentiment, clean movement, and my signals being met on my checklist, I felt this trade was worth entry. Being that I did not take it, it was still worth marking up. This trade, you would have only needed to be in for an hour, and it ends up getting you about 5 to 6 R. Let's see here. Going to the next one. This is USDJPY. This is an A12 candle formation. This is to the upside. Again, with this one, the higher time frames are not in your favor. I'm listing out the pros and cons of where the price is and the signal is at the moment, and it's determining whether it's worth. So the higher time frames are bearish. There's divergence present. To the previous day's high, we do have a nice rip to the upside. So this made me look for longs again going into today. Main thing here, this is on Friday. This is on NFP day where there's tons of news, and being that this is a USD based pair, it's always best to sit out, especially on a Friday and especially one filled with news. So looking at this, just keeping it super simple, there's more negatives than positives to entering, so therefore it's best to sit out. Out of that, those are all the markups for today and this week. I think the news was really impactful this week. So I felt it was honestly a great week to just lock in on the plan, the system, and how you want to go about this year. Another thing I filled out during this first week is this 9 questions to help you unlock your potential in terms of trading. So these are kind of just 9 simple questions. And shout out to Michael Lamoth. He's a pretty smart guy. And I always think it's best, if you're trying to improve your trading or your skill, look and see what others are doing who are where you want to be at. So I'm just going to run through these 9 questions, and I highly recommend you to do so if you're on your trading journey as well. So the first question is, why are you trading? What are you hoping to achieve? And what are your end goals? I simply put, I am trading because I have a passion for the markets and the opportunities it gives for anyone to do as they wish. I believe the markets is inadvertently freedom. Most countries and places, and still in the United States, not everyone has the ability and opportunity to trade and make a profit and do things in a system like this. So I feel it's an advantage, and it's I feel it's worth any citizen's endeavor to take. Um, with trading, I'm not only hoping to change my life, but the life of others and help others achieve those goals as well. Being able to trade, I believe, is a blessing and an opportunity. So I honestly believe, whether you've traded before or not, I think it's something everyone should look at and consider because of the opportunities and the freedom it can provide, and the freedom that you have to even do so. We'll hop on to number two. So another good question: is trading fun for you? Why or why not? On a fun scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Of course, this is going to vary for everybody. For me, I went ahead and went with a 15. Um, I could have went ahead and said 1,000 or 10,000 or things like that, but I don't think it would have been smart or worth saying, because there's many times this market can kick you in the butt and give you a lot of reminders. So I said 15 out of respect for the market and just the fact of the lessons I've learned along the way. But again, I have it over 10 just because it's something I would consider too much fun, and something, I mean, can never get enough of. So I highly recommend it. Number three, what is the goal you listed in option one? Why is it important to you? So it's going back to number one of your why, and it's pretty much asking you the importance of it. This number three, it really struck me and kind of got me into some deeper thought, but I really thought about it because the whole reason why I began was because I realized this is an opportunity that someone has to take participation in a free market, and based on that participation, they can do certain things for themselves, their surroundings, their lives, their families, their friends. So realizing that, I saw the opportunity to not only do that for myself, but if I become good enough, I can help others figure out how to do that and allow them to create positive change as well. So not only is it important because it'll allow me to do that for myself personally, but it'll also um, allow for me to create other opportunities and changes I would like to see through what trading could provide for me. I also believe trading just has the freedom that most people never really thought or believed. Most people believe, income or money or things like this has to come from either a job or things like that, where it's really not the case. When you can work your way into something like this and find that things can come to you easily, passively, than ways you were brought up or ways you were taught in which to obtain certain things. Um, Go ahead and go to number four. My beliefs about trading. Now, if I filled this out probably a year ago or 2 years ago, this would have been certainly much different. But next to each belief, I'll kind of just give reasoning as well. So the first belief I have is that trading provides abundant possibilities. I believe that because unless the market is disappearing tomorrow or just is no longer a thing, there are always going to be possibilities that come from it. I can see certain possibilities, others can see certain possibilities that I won't be able to see. So there's an abundant, and to me, an innumerate amount of possibilities that come from it. The belief in which this came from is mainly trial and error. I used to be someone that thought the opportunities and chances in the market were limited, when it's really quite the opposite. There's an abundant amount. So when you have that mindset of that there's a limit in the market, it'll kind of lean you towards forcing things, um, and not really following a plan. Whereas if you know something will come up again, you're not going to have that fear of missing out that many traders kind of have an issue with. Next, I put my beliefs are is something that will develop you as a human. It will work on your psychology, your discipline, your mental health, your strength, and honestly, your routine as a human being overall. I'll be putting out plenty of videos in regards to this as well. Um, I also have it favors those who place risk, because at the end of the day, you have to be willing to take risk. You cannot make profits without placing risk on a trade. So you have to take risks. Those who decide to take risk on any trade, whether it's profitable or not, that taking risk allows you the opportunity for those results that you're looking for. So the market at the end of the day is going to favor that person who places risk. And I believe that, I've taken tons of losses to get to where I am, but placing that risk has allowed me to get this far as well. Thirdly, let's see here. I put that it's more simple than most people think. And this was a belief that I had in the beginning and years ago as well, that you had to know tons of things, the market, the banks, price action, tons of indicators, tons of this, tons of that, when at the end of the day, it's really just keeping things simple that will allow for the best results. Another one I put is a lifelong skill that should be taught and learned. Um, Trading is not something that's taught in middle school or high school or really even in college. But I believe it's one of the biggest opportunities someone can have by partaking. And then I said it gives you control as well, because at the end of the day, the only person that's placing risk on a trade is me or the trader themselves. So you can't really blame the market. You can't really blame the banks. If you see something that's worth entering and you press the button, then it's on you. Simple as that. Number 6, in what ways has each belief served you in the past? Most of these beliefs are fairly new. The beliefs I had caused pain, caused losses, and it caused me to really think that trading was not the beliefs I had. So the mindset I had today is really from working the negative beliefs I had. And going on to 7 through 9, I believe, most of the beliefs I currently have will push me closer. And the only one I didn't bring up that I think I should possibly let go of is I put um belief for number 4 as trading is not an ATM, but I kind of want to let go of that belief, because I think you get to a certain point in trading and good enough, I think it can honestly become a quote ATM for you. So I think that's one I want to kind of work through and get rid of. But yeah. In terms of the week overall, there was tons of news. I feel that whenever there's a lot of news, especially high impact, it's usually just best to sit, save your risk for a better day and for a cleaner trade. Um, Honestly, I just mainly wanted to focus on my plan, the system, and how in which I'm going to execute, and that's really it. Um, I'm looking forward to this year. I think this year is going to be highly impactful for the global economy, the United States economy, and then traders as well, because it's been quite a transition the past 2 years, going from a highly bullish market to then a sudden bearish market to now we will see. So yeah, looking forward for the year ahead. Each week in this weekly review, I'm just going to go over things I was in or not in, pros and cons, some mistakes, and just kind of provide value to you guys of whatever it is you can need and kind of take with you to run with along your own trading journey. I'll be putting out other clips, videos on other trading topics like morning routines, and a whole plethora of things. So I'm looking forward to you sticking around. And always, if you have any questions about anything or comments, just drop a comment down below. And I hope you all have a great year ahead, and I'm looking forward to it. Feel free to give me a follow, ask, reach out, anything. I'm just here to simply provide value. And each week, that's all I want to do. And I'd like to see a progress in my trading and as well as yours throughout this year. So wish you a great 2023. I'm here to help. Drop your questions down below and let's get to it.